Let's build an incredible economic progress. Build on what we've already done, because this will be such a boost when it occurs. Let's show the world that America's democracy can deliver and propel our economy forward. And let's get this done.
Good evening, Black people and all allies fighting for Black liberation, Black prosperity, and Black joy. I'm Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. Last week, Congress passed Part 1 of President Biden's domestic agenda, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. The Speaker of the House is confident the House will pass Part 2, the larger $1.75 trillion social spending and climate bill, no later than November 15th. If it passes, it will be one of the largest investments ever in the country's working class. But the pared-down framework that Biden put forward to appease moderates still falls dramatically short in addressing racial inequality in areas like affordable housing and funding for HBCUs. Many were relieved after moderates didn't nix affordable housing from the spending bill altogether, as they did free community college and paid family leave. But the latest version allocates $150 billion for affordable housing creation and financial assistance. That's more than 50% less than the $300 billion initially proposed. Advocates in Chicago told the New York Times that historic disinvestment from majority Black neighborhoods like North Lawndale has been so severe that the amount of funding needed vastly exceeds even the $3.5 trillion figure that was the starting point for this bill. The Build Back Better plan will increase the maximum for Pell grants, on which 75% of HBCU undergrads rely, but HBCUs could also receive a record $2 billion out of the $10 billion set aside for minority serving institutions in the bill. Now, that's a far cry from the original $45 billion promised by the Biden administration, and it will need to be spread across more than 100 HBCUs. Joining me now to discuss is Rick Gallot, president of Grambling State University, and Michael Harriot, senior writer for The Root. President Gallot, $2 billion spread over 100 institutions. Is that enough?
Yeah, well, and Charles, thank you for having me on again. I think the distinction that needs to be made is that this will be money directly allocated for HBCUs as opposed to the larger pot that would have been a competitive process that would essentially have pitted HBCUs against MSIs as well, minority serving institutions. So this is money that will be directed specifically for HBCUs as opposed to having to compete. And then, of course, we know that in a competitive process, they will have to, number one, develop the rules, which are not currently in place, which would mean a significantly more longer delay in terms of being able to access these funds. So again, I think some of the spin that has been happening with the bill kind of distracts from the reality that this is an enhancement above and beyond what we're already receiving. So that's another distinction that I think if we're going to have a full conversation about it, we've got to be clear.
But President Gallot, on the White House website right now, they still have up this, their pledge to HBCUs, and they were allocating, the president plan also would invest $40 billion in upgrading research infrastructure, half of which would go to be reserved for HBCUs, and as you said, TCUs and MSIs. So they would be competing, but they would have been competing over $20 billion. Right? Not just the $2 billion. So I'm just saying, trying to get an understanding, are you satisfied with the $2 billion?
Well, again, this is an enhancement above what we're already receiving. And what I'll also say, and having served in the legislative branch of state government, this is a bill that is currently in the Congress. So as much as the president, I believe, is certainly supportive of HBCUs. And when you think about, Cedric Richmond, who's senior advisor to the president, and the vice president, who is an HBCU graduate and advocate, certainly nobody's pushing harder for us than they are. But it's up to the Congress now to get this bill passed. So I certainly think that we have to make sure we understand whose court the ball is in right now, and it's in the court of the Congress.
So, Michael, Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, donated $50 million to one HBCU in Texas. The school's president is using the money to start a writing program, open a center on race and justice, increase the university's endowment, and set aside $10 million for other projects. Is that the future for a lot of these schools? Are they just going to turn to the philanthropists and hope for the best and fight it out that way to get money that is unencumbered? They don't have to necessarily compete with the other institutions to get, but can just appeal to rich people?
Well, I don't think that any institution can survive depending on let's be honest, depending on the benevolence of white people. So I don't know if that is a solid future, and I don't know how you plan a budget around that 3 or 4 years into the future or year after year. So I don't know if that is the way. And one of the important things that we have to remember here, right, is like this whole conversation centers around the idea that like this is somebody else's money that they're giving to HBCUs, right? When this is our money. Like this is the people's money. This is taxpayers' money that we are allocating to the institutions that serve the public. And so, I think we should be careful not to, to couch the conversation in the idea that white people are giving HBCUs something versus the government giving HBCUs something. This is the money that the public has given to be allocated to increasing the education of America. And we know that the HBCUs disproportionately serve Black people, and they produce better outcomes than the historically or the predominantly white colleges. So we have to remember that when we're having this conversation.
President Gallot, Grambling was among 20 HBCUs to use federal funds from the COVID relief bill to help clear student debt. The spending bill never includes student debt relief, neither before or after it was cut down. Should it have included some provisions for student debt relief? This is within the White House and the president's purview. They can either forgive that student debt or they can include money to deal with it to help students to pay it down. They didn't do either.
Well, again, it has to go through the Congress in order. The president cannot alone put out a budget. He can only provide a roadmap of what his priorities are, but ultimately the Congress has to pass the bill. And just to follow up on what Michael is saying, no, we cannot sit back and rely on necessarily philanthropy. It's great to get, but we're taking this moment at Grambling, for instance. We've got 2 new programs, one in cybersecurity and one in cloud computing. We're the only school in state of Louisiana with a bachelor's degree in both of those. Well, guess what? This has given us an opportunity to partner with corporate America in terms of Amazon Web Services and Microsoft and Google and others who need a trained workforce in this particular area and are willing to invest in us because we are producing the workforce they need. So again, as much as we appreciate the philanthropy, as much as we appreciate the appropriations from the Congress and from our state government, we are being entrepreneurial in this moment that HBCUs are in the spotlight. And we're going to take full advantage of growing our program offering in such a way that we will get additional investments from the corporate sector who need the workforce we're producing.
Well, I just wanted for our viewers, just to clear up something. It is an open question. Experts are debating this, whether or not the president could, by executive order, forgive student debt. Like, it is not clear that they would have to pass legislation to forgive student debt on the federal level, not through the private banks, but through the federal government. So that is an open question for us. So, Michael, I want to come back to you. What do you think is going to happen here with this bill, the infrastructure bill, and the Build Back Better bill, and how you think things are going to shake out for Black people, including for HBCUs on the aggregate? Do you believe that enough has been put in to protect Black people, particularly black women. A lot of what's in this infrastructure bill is going to be for construction jobs that black women are not in, women at all are not in. So it's not really aimed at them. The things that could directly most affect black people got cut down quite a bit, including this HBCU piece. Do you feel confident that what is going to come out of this, sausage making is going to be, in the aggregate, good for black people?
Well, there's two things, right? I guess any additional thing is a help, but it seems as if the proposals, when you compare the proposals to what we got, right, they cut. It seems like the first things on the chopping block were the things that specifically helped black people, or the things that disproportionately help black people. And we also have to remember that, again, we frame these conversations, we accept the notions that we are given and then use those notions to frame our conversations. Like can anybody remember why we even had to have two infrastructure bills, right? Like why we even had to split the things down to the stuff white people like and then some stuff that might help black people, or the stuff that just address regular infrastructure and the stuff that addresses social infrastructure and healthcare. Like it's a crazy conversation that we're having where we just bisected the things that fund the American economy and the American infrastructure, and we decided that some things are necessary and some things aren't. And then, it always turns out that the things that aren't necessary are the things that specifically address the inequality and the economic disparities that black people have to face.
President of Grambling State University, Rick Gallot, thank you so much for being here tonight. And Michael Harriot, you stick around. I want to talk to you about another story later in the show.